Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And very good afternoon. Welcome to the third chapter. Okay. Energy room, energy audit and room data survey (RDS). Okay. So this is the third chapter. For those who are entering this class for the first time, we have completed chapter 1 and chapter 2 before, and I hope you read the notes that I shared through Yulen. Alright. First and foremost, when you say energy audit, there are two types of energy audit. Okay, the first one is room data survey. We have basics and preliminary, and the second one is detailed energy audit. That is more comprehensive, lebih mendalam lah. Alright. So we talk about room data survey. We call it RDS in short. Okay. So the purpose of RDS is normally in a building, in a big or metered energy user, is chiller plant. Okay, the rest are small and no submeter installed. Okay, and the purpose of this audit, okay, when you say basic, to determine the small energy users that contribute to energy consumptions and factors contribute to it. Okay, so normally kalau kita kata audit basic, okay, basic kepada audit adalah kita nak tahu apa pengguna energi yang kecil. Dan biasanya normal chiller plant ni is the biggest pengguna, dan kita ada equipment lain, contohnya lighting, mungkin kita ada heater, mungkin juga kita ada sistem yang berbeza bergantung kepada building itu. We have a hospital, like a mall, ada different. So area yang kita nak fokus, the area to focus is room data, lighting data dan general equipment. So ni tiga benda yang kita fokus lah. Alright. Okay, so for room data, normally kita kena ada few data yang kita kena recorded. Okay, so first kita kena tahu projek kita lah. So this is based on our bill of quantities supply by our tenderer lah. Okay, so kita tahu building kita, location ni mana, okay, tarikh kita buat dan prepared by. So kita sebagai as an energy auditor ataupun energy manager, so kita kena buat lah this. Okay, equipment yang kita gunakan utamanya untuk room data form, okay, room data is temperature, humidity, relative humidity. Next is illuminant meter and CO2 meter. Okay, so contohlah kita ada 5 different level. Of course, setiap level tu kita kena collect data setiap area yang berkaitan. Ini just a summary. Mana detail datanya kita kena collect dan put in another document lah. That's why lah kita kena measure berapa each room. Contohnya kita ada lobby, number of people in this lobby, berapa illuminance value, dari mean, max, average, temperature. So this will be apply masa awak pergi audit nanti. Okay, temperature, relative humidity, CO2 in term of part per million, window status, ada shading tak ada shading, wall color, remarks, so on and so forth lah. So setiap level, contohnya awak audit 2 office, 2 story level of office, so awak kena buat setiap satu level. This is the summary, tapi detail data dia kita kena supply sekali in the appendices. Okay, alright. Okay, next sama juga, this is the same. Alright, next, this is for lighting data. Okay, again, projek yang sama, tapi sekarang ni kita fokus kepada lighting data. So apa yang awak kena record is number of lamp, number of fitting. Sometimes lamps put in a pair, so one fitting is for 2 lamps. Okay, so type of lighting equipment. Okay, alright, lighting equipment boleh jadi surface mounted, ceiling recess, bare channel, spotlight, downlight, so on and so forth lah, decorative light. So you have to choose. This is dia punya singkatan lah, you can put. And then berapa dia punya watt, lamp plus the ballast. So there are 2 types of ballast. We have electronic ballast and mechanical ballast. So you have to know each rating for each type of ballast. Alright, type of control, it can be manual, but normally it's manual lah. Automatic, maybe there is sensor. Okay, alright. Next is status of reflection. Adakah dia full mirror, half mirror, ataupun tak ada non-reflective. Jangan lupa juga kita letak diffuser type dia. Mana dia jenis louver ke, prismatic ke, ataupun tak ada langsung. Alright, so operating hour. Mesti dalam satu building dia ada operating hour. So normally kalau kita kata offices, weekdays saja dia akan operate. Weekend mungkin ada certain lampu yang kita tinggalkan. Mungkin majority of the lampu, weekdays dia akan on 8 to 5. Okay, waktu bekerja lah. Okay, kalau kilang yang operate 24 hours, mungkin lebih. So ada area, certain area, jadi kita boleh kira dia punya consumption based on the watt that uses lah. Alright. Next, general equipment. Of course, dalam satu building, mesti ada general equipment such as heater. Maybe juga dia ada boiler yang kita kena list dekat mana location dia, what is the descriptions, rated power dia, number of units yang ada, mungkin sama. Contohnya kita ada boiler ada 3 unit, so 3 units, so the same thing. Okay, kita loading factor. Operation hour, maybe the 24 hours, maybe 12 hours, according to the building punya operation lah. That's why kita kena tahu, kena tanya facilities manager. So barulah kita boleh estimate the total power consumption of each equipment. Kalau tadi first is basic, okay, lighting and then general equipment. Alright, apa equipment yang kita perlukan? Okay, this is the equipment yang kita perlukan. Kita kena ada air velocity meter, meter untuk tengok angin, terutama daripada AHU. Okay, AHU room. Okay, so room data audit instrument yang kita perlukan first is air velocity meter untuk measure. Sometimes problem dengan sistem aircon kita block. Okay, too many maybe dust apa semua. Okay, that's why dia punya velocity is drop. It should be a certain ni, maknanya AHU running tapi dia block, tak bersih. Filter kita tak pernah bersih. Alright. Next is clamp meter. How many current, okay, voltage, watt and current that been consumed for each equipment, for each appliance yang ada dalam satu building. Alright. Dan temperature humidity meter. Ini juga penting sebab sometimes kita kata kita dah setting the right temperature, tapi yang sampai boleh jadi terlalu tinggi temperature, terlalu panas, is too hot, maybe is too cold. That's why based on our audit punya result, barulah kita boleh buat analysis. Okay, humidity juga memainkan peranan because humidity will create mold. And meaning that our return air is not functioning well lah. Alright. Next is CO2 meter. Okay, carbon dioxide, where this carbon dioxide will affected our building because CO2, high CO2 meaning temperature akan increase. Okay, and air circulation kita ada problem lah. Last but not least is lux or light meter. Ni awak ada buat pada lab pertama, lab 1, where we do a measurement for especially for illuminance. Alright. So in terms of system performance, this is the among the three that indicator that we calculate. We have basically we have a building energy index. Okay, we have aircon energy index. We have lighting energy index, plug load index. Okay, alright. So this is the system performance where we want to assess the performance of our system. So therefore barulah kita tahu, okay kita okay sistem kita ni, adakah dia running ikut yang kita nak ataupun dia needs maintenance, needs replacement. So that's why audit ni sangat penting. Alright. So tadi kita dah belajar apakah equipment dia, apa yang checklist yang kita kena buat, data yang kita kena recorded. Now we learn about the audit methodology. First and foremost, kita kena review design and drawing. Okay, so that's why kita kena ada audit, kita panggil sebagai desktop audit lah. Desktop audit ni kita akan tengok drawing. Because of each building dia ada drawing, but sometimes drawing is not updated. Mana drawing tu mungkin 14 years ago, 15 years ago, the same drawing that being used, that being put inside a building tapi tak pernah update. That's why kita kena check, we have to recheck drawing tu sama tak dengan yang install. That's why data, atau measurement, submeter apa semua. And then kita select room selections. So which area kita nak start dulu? So there are certain parameters that we need to measure, such as lux, illuminance, okay, number of lighting. That's why awak kena measure, awak kena tahu setiap lighting, apa type of lighting ada dekat situ. Saya kata tadi, apa type, misalnya louver apa semua tu kena recorded. And then in term of temperature and relative humidity, we need to measure. In each area, jangan measure sekali, kena measure additional, at least three times of measurement for each point supaya awak dapat data yang tepat. Also for relative humidity. Next is CO2 level. Kita nak tahu CO2 level sesuai tak untuk manusia duduk and do their activity. Okay, alright. Number of PC equipment, personal computer. Others equipment also. That's why saya kata banyak sebenarnya. Bila dalam satu building, offices, hospitals, mall, banyak equipment yang bila kita audit baru kita tahu ada banyak equipment dia yang berbeza. Alright. Next is total number of lighting, number of computer, others equipment, the average room temperature and humidity. This is important to determine sama ada the temperature is right ataupun dah terlalu sejuk, is too cold for those who are using that daily, atau dia akan mengganggu kepada kesihatan lah. The average CO2 level and day lighting potential area where we can delamping kalau ada. But it is based on our audit data lah. Tak boleh nak simply just okay ada lighting, because sometimes building ada install with facade, okay, where they tinted all the glass and apa jadi day lighting tu tak function lah. Alright, sebab mungkin dia nak reduce in term of temperature semualah. So tadi adalah basic energy audit. Now we go to detail energy audit. So because dalam sustainable energy management roadmap, salah satu daripada requirements to achieve 2-star in term of energy management goal standard ataupun EMGS is detail energy audit. So dia dah jadi requirement. If you are an energy manager, of course you have to go through, start with NGS first, second and third. So for the second one, kena buat detail energy audit. Tak boleh lagi audit biasa. Kalau the first one okay, tapi the second one kita kena buat detail energy audit. So dalam detail energy audit, kita kena ada electrical measurement. Okay. So tak kisahlah apa brand pun. Yang penting, the function is to measure main electrical parameters. kVA, kilowatt, power factor, okay, frequency, kilovar, reactive power, the current and voltage. Alright. So kita tujuannya, kita nak tahu kita punya loading, motor, transformer, electrical heater yang the real punya loading, not based on the manual, tapi berdasarkan online yang dia dah install. That's why dia kata is include all those wiring and then all those equipment yang berkaitan. Maybe they install the way it's radial, maybe parallel, so on and so forth. So kita kena tahu. Alright. Next is combustion analyzer to measure the composition of flue gas gases. After combustion, of course kita kena measure CO2, CO, CO3. So bila kita tahu this data, when we do the analyzer on the combustion itself, kita tahu adakah combustion kita tu is efficient ataupun ada leakages yang menyebabkan ada bahaya lah. Kalau CO tu dah bebas dalam building, boleh menyebabkan keracunan. CO2 menyebabkan temperature naik. So benda-benda ni semualah. So you need to determine that composition using that combustion analyzer. Next is manometers. Okay. Function dia simple. To check the differential pressure between 2 point. Okay. Exhaust gases how to flow off in the duct. Jadi kita guna manometers untuk measure differential pressure between 2 point. Thermometers directly we check the temperature. So temperature boleh jadi the aircon unit, boiler, furnace, steam system and so on and so forth lah. Yang benda melibatkan temperature, because apa-apa dalam building of course temperature kita nak maintain in a certain level supaya the comfort level inside the building kita panggil thermal comfort will be maintained. Alright, next is water flow meters. To measure the linear mass or volumetric flow rate, terutamanya liquid atau gases. So each pump, kita nak tahu dia ni efficiency. Okay, sebab pump ni memang berada dekat kita punya cooling towers, sebab kita nak bring the heated air ke atas, heated chill water apa semua, chiller system kita, dia memang ada flow of hot air dengan cool air. Okay, that one memang kena release. Okay, release to the atmosphere in order to cool our building. Memang kena ada sistem yang kena ada chiller, kena ada cooling tower, okay, heat exchanger, so on and so forth lah. Okay, so this equipment water flow meters kita boleh measure secara ni lah, linear to linear. Next is tachometer. Tachometer is related to the motors lah. Of course motor tu kalau experienced auditors, dia dah tahu. In term of bunyi pun dia dah dengar tu, dia dah tahu something wrong with our motors. To verify that situation, we need to measure. Sebab kita ada dia punya spec. Okay, speed rotation dia tu betul ke tak? Fan dia tu sama ada problem ke? That's why speed measurement, tachometer, stroboscope ke apa semua tu sangat penting untuk tahu kita punya conditions our motors lah. Alright, next is leak detectors. Okay, kalau ada leak terutamanya pada compressed air, okay, kita punya ducting apa semua, sebab dia akan effect. Okay, dia akan effect kepada sistem aircon kita. Mungkin benda tu kalau besar kita boleh nampak bocor, ada udara, ada bunyi. Tapi kalau small leak, kita kena pakai ultrasonic punya leak detectors lah. Okay, so that one kita kena tackle. Okay, even though dia kecil tapi it can, when it accumulate over the years, over months and years, dia akan banyak lah. Next is lux meter. We have done in the lab to measure illuminations. Okay, light level. Okay, level in the offices, factories, malls, so on and so forth. Right. So tadi kita dah belajar in term of methodology. Now is the procedure in term of execution. Alright. First, before we start our audit, kita kena ada kick-off meeting. So we need to forming an audit team. So audit team normally consists of electrical engineer, we have mechanical, we have civil, we have chemical. So this team will plan a schedule. Faham? So engineer ni akan berkumpul dan plan a schedule. EA tu refer to energy audit. So dia akan put work scope masing-masing. So that's why lah kita kena ada difference punya disciplines of engineering, because of they have their own speciality that they can advise, and dia tahu contohnya lah on certain chemical punya compound yang mana dia punya ratio tak betul, what is the indicator. Alright, lepas awak buat kick-off meeting, you have to do the desktop audit. Masa desktop audit ni, kita masih duduk dalam bilik lagi dan tengok drawing. Study on data drawing, tengok billing, baru kita boleh tengok trending. When we have, kita cakap sebagai energy baseline, we refer to the reference baseline, kita tengok situation dia. Dan study on the building system, in terms of maybe ada penambahan sistem, contohnya dalam satu factory, from maybe one production line, now after 10 years is 10 production line. So it's different. That's why we need to know the historical bill. Baru kita tengok. Dan kita akan buat, kita panggil sebagai baseline adjustment based on the increment of any equipment lah, yang mana dynamic. Okay. So lepas tu kita dah pakai desktop ni dalam bilik saja. Lepas tu baru kita pergi site investigation. Pergi ke site sendiri. So during that site investigation barulah kita buat measurement. Kita buat room survey, kita buat electrical logging. Normally electrical logging is minimum 1 week up to 1 month. Okay, so kita logging that data, baru kita tahu trending. Weekend punya data macam mana, weekdays punya data macam mana. And we call it ACMV performance. This is for the HVAC system. Okay, ACMV is also HVAC lah, kita boleh panggil performance measurement. So from then field data measurement, we do analysis. So you as an engineer, you as an auditor, you have to do an analysis. Barulah kita ada finding. Daripada finding tu, you suggest and energy saving measures or energy conservation measures, ECM or ASM. Okay, so they both are the same thing. Maknanya awak akan bagi cadangan. You give a suggestion to a certain building to improve their system. So then comes the report writing. So awak akan buat draft report and presentation to the management and come up the final report and finish on the audit procedure. Banyak prosesnya tapi follow step by step baru kita dapat. Okay? If data not complete, we have to repeat again for field data measurement. Sebelum buat analisis, kena pastikan your data is completed and then baru you do your report writing. Alright? Okay, so execution of preliminary audit atau pre-audit lah. Okay, so pre-audit, the target is to determine the energy saving opportunities. Macam saya cakap, most of the time, normally they target for no or low cost measures. Because of medium and high, dia akan ambil masa untuk company provide that budget. Okay, so that's why kita kena identify, okay, maintenance, operational, apa dengan maintenance dengan operational energy conservation yang no atau low cost yang boleh improve. Okay, dan we need to identify the needs to analysis yang lebih mendalam lah. Alright, normally yang pre-audit ni 1 to 2 days, tak lama. Dia, and then approach dia, we do data collection, visit preparation, visit juga tapi sekejap saja, and kita terus prepare audit report. Okay, so in term of preparation, first kita kena checklist, kita buat checklist, questionnaire, data semua, dan kita analyse the energy use of practice. Macam mana dia punya trending, adakah this is the 24 hours punya operations or 12 hours ataupun 8 hours, 9 hours, okay. And we have to compare with the best practice. Okay, kita ada, based on kita audit sebelum ni, kita ada audit di tempat lain. So best practice, that is something yang kita bawa, kita highlighted. So next sama juga macam proses yang I have explained before, on-site visit, kita ada kick-off meeting, kita ada walk-through inspections, and then we discuss on the finding, apa nak kena improve. And last is we produce a report, kita analyse the current energy use, apa saving measure yang sesuai berdasarkan audit awak, and we have to prepare the proposal untuk further action, apa building tu kena buat to improve more on the saving, on the energy and saving initiative. Alright, so first, okay, contohlah kita ambil satu billing ni this is from MMU, Universiti Telekom, nama dia. So number of days, this is the old billing, this is from 2010, okay, 2010. So number of days 31. We have the maximum demand 778 kilowatt. Energy peak, dia ada indicate energy peak dan energy off peak. Maknanya semasa off peak pun ada penggunaan lagi. MD cost, sebab kita kena faham kalau kita seorang cakap commercial, dia kena bayar maximum demand. Kalau residential tak ada. Tapi kalau commercial, you have to pay maximum demand cost. It's about 28k. And then kita ada energy peak, energy off peak. Okay, dia different tarif juga. Tak sama dengan rumah. Rumah sama tarif je. Malam ke siang tak ada beza. Alright? So daripada tu kita boleh tahulah kita punya average monthly consumption, minimum and maximum. Ni kita buat trending lah. So Mei, Jun, Julai, Ogos, sampai April lah. Jadi kita boleh dapat main peak. Kita boleh buat power factor. Okay, power factor kilowatt hour. Alright, so this is the recording yang kita tengok daripada segi billing lah. Kita kena buka billing. So this is energy consumption, TNB Jalan Timur. Okay, kita boleh nampak di sini. Trending for each month tak sama. Okay, that's why lah kita kena buat comparison apple to apple. May 2009 kita kena compare dengan May 2010. Sama juga yang lain juga. Okay, alright. And yang kalau tengok kat sini adalah dia punya maximum demand. Maximum demand ni, kalau belajar power system, is only 30 minutes yang paling top tu dalam sebulan tu, itu yang dia akan capture. Normally they install dengan maximum demand meter lah. Alright. Next is audit procedure for detail energy audit. Normally panjang. This is 1 month. Kalau small medium 1 month. Kalau besar large industrial it takes 2-3 months baru habis audit tu. Because detail energy audit dia adalah thorough analysis dan evaluation. So kita tengok distribution, kita tengok cost, operational change, apa yang impact kepada sistem. So step dia, kita akan gather also the energy production data. We can evaluate the data, detail analysis energy conservation opportunities. Normally lepas kita buat preliminary audit, barulah kita buat detail energy audit. Okay. And then kita kena tahu in term of organizational aspect apa dia nak achieve. Contohnya, they trying to achieve like 3 star. So what are the strategies yang kena in place supaya dia achieve that organizational punya target. Okay, and then implement action plan. So in terms of preparation, first kita kena plan the energy service. Okay, collect data, of course sama juga. Carry out test and submetering. Submetering ni normally kalau building yang dah ada sistem, dia dah ada dah for each kita pakai combination of load ataupun load operationing, dia dah ada each metering yang berasingan. And then we have to calculate the energy balances and efficiencies and identify the saving opportunities. Alright? So from that, we can calculate the energy saving and cost saving. Of course lah, bila awak dah tahu energy saving opportunities, awak akan boleh estimate ataupun calculate the energy saving from that saving opportunities. Sebab kita tahu, once kita audit, detail audit, kita nampak what's the problem, what is the implemented solution yang sesuai, and the cost for each. Because normally detail energy audit, kita akan propose medium dengan high punya solution. Alright? So, kita kena bagi suggestion. We have to review the energy purchasing cost. Macam mana kita punya, maybe change of tariff and investigate responsibility structure and barriers. Apa dia punya gangguan, apa dia punya mungkin halangan untuk each building tu untuk improve. That's why kita last and but least kita kena buat detail report and priority list implementation measures. Barulah kita tahu each building tu apa dia punya yang penting buat dulu. Kalau tadi kita berfokus kepada no dengan low cost, but now fokus kepada medium and high cost. Dan normally company dah ready untuk invest something because they want to achieve something lah. Alright, so detail audit lah macam ni lah. Kita ada kick off meeting, kita ada perbincangan, kita pergi site investigation. So on the floor kita tengok kita punya equipment. Okay, by so lah kita boleh tahu the system yang ada. Alright, so field of electrical system audit. Okay, normally contohnya kita ada this is transformer, this is our main switchboard, kita MSB 1, MSB 2, kita this is our load. So data logging at least 1 for 2 week kita ambil dekat main intake, the aircon system sebab because AC system is the highest punya user. We have lighting, plug load, lift and ventilation fan. Plug load ni normally refer kepada equipment lah. So setiap equipment of course dia akan pakai plug load, PC ke, printer ke. Okay, alright. So kat situ lah kita akan buat load operationing. Load operationing meaning that kita akan pecahkan based on category. We have air conditioner, kita power, lighting, minimum 3 tapi mungkin jadi lagi banyak lah. Okay, based on the nature of each building. So that's why kita kena analyse. Bila awak tengok schematic drawing, awak boleh nampak dekat schematic drawing tu apa equipment yang install. Okay, ni loading ni untuk loading apa. Dan biasanya dalam building yang proper dia akan ada this drawing lah. So this drawing awak boleh refer dan baca. Okay. Alright. So tools yang kita guna untuk tahu that each load operationing, kita kena pakai power analyzer and juga AC clamp meter. Baru kita tahu the right load yang ada pada sistem itu. Bukan berdasarkan teori saja tapi based on measurement, the right real measurement. Barulah kita tahu data. Okay, apakah finding ataupun outputs that akan terhasil daripada detail audit tadi? Kita akan tahu the load profile. Sebab tadi kita dah logging, kita dah letak kita punya equipment 1 for 2 week, kita tahu load profile kita. So, main electrical intake kita dah tahu load profile. Lepas tu kita buat clamp meter for each load pula. Dan kita tahu weekly and daily energy consumption. Biasanya dia punya nilai tu tak jauh sangat lah. Unless kita ada certain orang kata program yang tiba-tiba, contohnya sambutan hari raya, okay? We have Deepavali and so on and so forth. There are certain yang kita kata dia adalah seasonal punya celebration, dia akan affect kita punya load. But if it's just normal punya consumption, dia sama je. Dan kita boleh tahu load operationing ni sangat penting. Supaya kita nak attack the first thing first. Apa yang paling the highest energy user dalam building tu, itu yang first kita kena tackle. The second and third lah. Okay. So now, when we get all those data, kilowatt hour, we have the operation hour, barulah kita boleh determine the area. Okay, area sangat penting. So, building energy index. That's why kita pakai juga laser distance meter to calculate the area building. Of course, we can use the drawing that being supplied for each building. Dia ada dia punya drawing dia. Okay, that drawing boleh kita refer, but we need to verify because sometimes ada renovation yang not written inside our drawing. Dia tak update dalam drawing. And then baru kita boleh determine the building energy index, lighting index, AC index, energy intensity, lighting intensity, AC energy index. So, this is the load operationing yang normally kita buat lah. Okay, kita have chiller plant, kita ada lighting, personal computer, office equipment, HU, lift, essential and so on and so forth lah. Dan kita boleh tahu daripada data logging tadi, kita logging selama 2 minggu tadi, kita boleh tahu kita punya loading. Okay. So kalau kita tengok ni, different color ni different main switchboard. Kita ada kurang 1, 2, 3 MSB1, MSB2, MSB3. So kita tahulah siapa pengguna terbesar bila kita ada switchboard yang berbeza. Kita tahu dia punya load profile, berapa consumption dia. Nampak? Dekat sini pun kita boleh tahu. This is weekend, this is normal days. So kadang-kadang kita boleh tackle the weekend, on the weekend load first untuk reduce. Okay. Macam ni kita planning. Alright. So kalau kita tengok sini, MSB1, MSB2, MSB3. So kita tahu dia punya maximum demand when we do logging, average demand, load factor, consumption, peak and off peak, and then total. Okay. So kita tahu percentage yang paling besar daripada MSB3. Yang kedua MSB1, the last is MSB2. So kat mana kita nak tackle dulu? Yang paling besar lah. Barulah kita pergi yang paling kecil. Alright. Okay. So this is the calculation. This is system analysis. Baru kita ada gross flow area, air condition area, berapa equipments, annual energy consumption, ni memang ada. Annual AC, different Annual energy consumption is total load semua sekali. And then we have annual AC, annual lighting juga. So barulah kita boleh determine the building indices. Ni kita ada. Nanti kita akan ada satu assignment yang awak kena buat dan submit through Ulearn. Okay, alright. Okay, so kita tahulah weekend ni kita ada unnecessary load. Sepatutnya chiller operation weekend kita boleh off terus. So kalau kita boleh reduce the base load ni, kita boleh jimat banyak. Kat sini sahaja lebih kurang 450 kilowatt. So dah besar kat situ. Kat sini saja kita boleh jimat banyak. So you as an energy manager, we need to plan macam mana nak operate punya chiller operation throughout the whole month lah. Okay. Okay, alright. Kita tengok calculation ni. Okay. Table shown the loads in the office building. Calculate the load operationing. Ni saya pecahkan kepada 5 load operationing. Kita ada aircon, kita ada lighting, plug loads, lift and others. So awak boleh buat calculation, kira the annual energy and load percentage lah. So saya dah tolong kira, nanti awak kira, awak boleh check balik sama ada data tu betul atau tak. Awak boleh verify. Okay. Alright. So you have an exercise. So this is you need to submit by next week lah. So exercise 1, please calculate energy indexes for each type of loads. JFA kita 25,000 meter square. air conditioning area is 22,000 meter square. So you need to calculate BEI for JFA, BI for AC area, AC energy index, lighting energy index. This is the formula. Nanti awak buat, dapatkan data, nanti awak submit. This exercise need to be handwritten, kena tulis tangan, dan submit through Ulearn. Link akan diberilah. Alright. Okay, so submit your answer through Ulearn. Okay, I think that's all for today. One reminder for budak tahun 1 that ambil subjek saya, for the next following class akan ada pecahan. So budak tahun 4, student yang tahun 4, BLT and BLK akan kekal Khamis, Rabu petang 4 sampai pukul 6 petang. Okay, face to face kelas, unless kalau ada macam di Bali cuti macam tu. Kalau untuk budak tahun 1 yang ambil subjek ni awal, okay, elektif ni awal, akan dipindahkan ke hari Khamis 10 hingga 12. Location adalah BK28. Ingat Again, saya ulang. Kepada budak tahun 4, kelasnya kekal 4 to 6 PM hari Rabu. Untuk budak tahun 1 ataupun yang tahun 2, naik tahun 2 lah, yang dapat credit transfer, akan pindah ke hari Khamis 10 pagi sampai 12 tengah hari. Okay. That's all for today. Thank you for listening to this chapter 3. Ingat, submit your answer through Ulearn. The link with saya akan create inside Ulearn, and then you can submit your answer. Okay, thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and goodbye.